Hey guys, welcome in this new video. I hope that all of you are doing right. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys the story of my biggest trading loss. So I'm going to go over that. I'm going to share with you guys what I've learned as well from it. So I think that it will be a really interesting video simply because, well, I think it happens to everyone, right? At some point in their trading career to experience a big loss or to experience a situation that is a bit shocking. And I think that simply sharing this with you guys and sharing what I've learned and what I did after that to recover from it is actually really interesting and can be very valuable for you guys. So just before that we start, as always guys, don't forget to leave a like under the video. I would really appreciate it. And don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel if it's not already done. That would just support me making these free videos for you guys. So let's get right into it. So first of all, before that I talk about the loss directly, let me put you guys back in context of where I was in my trading when this happened. So I basically started to trade over 6 years ago. So I started to trade when I was 15 years old, and at that time I was very young, right? I was really naive on a lot of different topics, and I just kind of stumbled upon trading with a friend, and then I started to learn because I had an interest for the markets. So I started to learn. I spent a lot of time, going over the charts, reading articles, watching YouTube videos, and just trying overall to understand, what I was looking at. And I spent about 15 months on a demo account at first to really just try to figure out the markets, figure out my trading style, figure out how I wanted to approach, these charts and, just overall develop myself, right? So I spent a lot of time doing this. And then after that, after 15 months, right, I started to feel a bit more confident. I started to kind of maybe understand a bit what I was doing, or at least that's what I thought, right, at the beginning. And then I was like, okay, well, it's been over 1 year that I've been doing this. I still have a really strong interest for that. And I think I understand at least a little bit, what I'm doing. So let's try and put some money into an account. And so that's what I did. I opened an account. At the time I was 16 years old, so it was under my father's name. I could not even have an account at my name, so that's what I did. And I put $200 in the account. So that was not really a lot of money, right? It was a really small capital, but keep in mind, right, I was 16 years old. So I mean, at that age, you don't really have money anyway. So that's pretty much all I wanted to put in at the beginning to test it out and see how it would go. So I put this $200 on the table. I start to trade with it. I start to make some good trades, some bad trades. And overall, it was going pretty decently, actually. I was able to grow the account a bit. Of course, I was not making a lot of money, but it was still positive returns. And I was pretty much, excited for this, right? Like, I mean, it was amazing, Like when you just start to trade, you're very young, right? Didn't have any money. And then I start to make some money. And I was like, wow, that's fucking amazing, Like I was super happy for this. And so after that, I was like, okay, well, if I can grow $200, why couldn't I grow $2,000? So that was my thought process. And so then after that, I added some money into my account to get to a capital of $2,000. And so then after that, I was like, wow, that's a pretty good capital, right? At that time, $2,000 was a massive amount of money for me. I mean, that's pretty much all I could afford to risk. And even there, right, it was really big, right? I mean, for a 16 years old, that makes sense, right? So I had $200 in my account. And so then after that, I did the same thing, right? I started to trade. I started to get some winning trades, some losing trades. And overall, I was able to grow my account pretty well. And it got to the point where I was at $4,000 of capital in a couple of weeks, couple of months, right? I don't remember exactly because it's been already like 4 or 5 years. But I was growing the account pretty well, actually, and it was going quite fast. And the reason why is simply because I was not really paying too much attention to risk management. This is probably one of the most common mistakes that new traders make. And I also went through this mistake myself, right? So I was not really paying too much attention to the risk that I was putting on the charts. I was aware, of course, of what risk management was and that it was important to control risk and so on and so forth. But since I never really had experienced any meaningful loss or something like this, I didn't put too much attention on this, right? And I really felt amazing at that time. I thought I was the greatest trader ever. And so I was just, trying to make more money, right? And so it worked for some time, right? I mean, I got to a capital of about $4,000 and it was pretty good, right? And so after that, when I got to this capital, I tried to keep on growing, right? And at the time, as I said, I was risking quite a lot. I mean, the risk was around 5 to 10%, if I remember, per trade, which is why the account grew very fast. But at the same time, you have to understand that 5 to 10% risk on every trade is way too much. It doesn't make any sense. Even if you know what you're doing, it's way too much, because mathematically you're never going to be able to grow an account, because if you take a few losses, you get into a big drawdown, and then you need to double the drawdown size in order just to get back to where you were. So you're never going to grow an account with a massive risk like that. But at the time, I didn't understand that. I was quite new still to trading, right? And I just had met my mentors recently, so that's why I had an idea of what I needed to do on markets, but I didn't have the full picture yet. I had a lot of lessons that I needed to learn by myself, right? So I was at 4,000, and then after that, what happened is that I again kept taking trades. I took a few losses in a row, and this is where it started to go quite bad, actually. So I took one trade, it was a loss. I took a second trade, it was a loss. I took a third trade, it was a loss. And this happened in a few days period. And so then after that, I was back at around, if I remember correctly, 3,000, 3,500, around there. And I was like, wow, you know, that hurts, you know, like I was above $4,000. I had doubled my account, and now I'm back at 3,000, right? I've lost quite a lot of money already. And I was really starting to be anxious. I was sad. I was tired. All the negative emotions you can think of, I was feeling that at that point. And I had lost all the confidence that I had in me. So I was around $3,000. And then I took one or two more trades. Again, did not care at all about risk management, and lost again these trades. And honestly, the reason why I lost these trades is also because I was taking, you know, shit trades. You know, like at that point, as I said, I lost all the confidence that I had. I was not following my strategy. I was just, you know, taking random trades. You know, I was trying to make the money back that I had lost. And this is obviously not the right thing to do. And then I basically went back to the $2,000 initial capital that I had. So I went from 2,000 to 4,000, and then all the way back to $2,000, right? And so this was pretty shocking for me, right? And so that is basically the story of my biggest loss, right? So I lost about 50%, right, of my capital. Now, lucky for me, in a sense, this was money that I had made, right? This was profit, basically, that I lost. And so I didn't lose any initial capital that I put in the account. And I think that this played a big role into me eventually getting my mind back to normal, you know, changing a few things in my trading, and then, you know, coming back better than ever, and just, you know, growing from there, right? So losing profit that you made, to me, is a bit easier. It's not easy, right? It's less hard, let's put it that way, than losing initial capital that you made, right? So let's say that I was at 2,000 and then I lost the $2,000. Then it would have been much more difficult for me to put back another $2,000 to retry again, right? Like this would have been super, super difficult emotionally. And honestly, I don't know if I would have done it, and maybe that I would not be where I am today, right? So I've been lucky in that sense, but still, right, I lost, I mean, 50% of my account, right, at that point. And so I was really not feeling good. It was really not a good time in my life at that time, you know, because I went from feeling like a super genius to, you know, the dumbest person on the planet, you know. And so this was really a roller coaster of emotion, right? And it was not really something fun to live through. But as I said, right, over the time, I kind of took a step back, right? I've realized that I was missing a few pieces in my trading. I tried to get better. I studied more the markets. I asked a lot of questions to the people around me and the mentors that I had at the time. And then at some point, I just started to trade again with this $2,000. I was able to grow it a bit more slowly, but way more steadily and with less risk on the table. And over time, I was able to keep growing this account, put a bit more money into it, and this account eventually turned to a much bigger one. And so today, well, I'm a full-time trader, right? I've been doing this for almost 6 years in trading and 3 years full-time. So it worked, right? Overall, but this was really a hard part for me in my journey. Now, let me also share with you guys all the lessons that I've learned from this. I've already kind of talked a bit about that, but that's also the reason why I'm recording this video. I want to share with you guys what I've learned from this and what you can learn as well so that you don't make this mistake. So number one, of course, risk management, right? You need to protect your capital. Don't think about the profit, think about the potential loss. It's the most important thing ever. You can ask anybody who has been successful in this industry for a long period of time, they will all tell you the same thing. Risk management is the most important thing ever. If you are able to control your risk and stay very focused on this, on every trade that you take, you are never going to experience any meaningful loss. All right, please understand this, right? My mentors told me that. At first I did not listen. I had a shit loss and then I had to recover from this, right? So now don't do the same mistake that I did, right? Listen to me, guys. Don't over risk, right? Keep a good risk on all your trade. Let's say 1% or 2%, that's very good, right? And you need to stick with this on every single trade that you take. And since that loss, right, this is what I did. And since then, I've never had any meaningful loss. It just never happened, and it's never going to happen because I know how to calculate my risk, and I will always, go with very not risky trades, right? If that makes sense. So I'm always going to play it safe. This has paid very well, and it's going to continue going that way, right? So risk management is really, really, really important. That's the number one lesson that you have to learn from this. Number two, your emotions, right? Your emotions will dictate what you do in your trades, all right? And so at that time, right, when I was going through this loss, I was, as I said, really emotional. I was really negative. I was not in the right state of mind. And this is what kind of pushed me in a way to just keep losing and keep taking bad trades. So instead of being in this mentality, if I would have been able to control myself and stay focused and stay calm, it would not have been this dramatic, right? I would have been able to take a step back much earlier, realize my mistake, and then keep on growing, right? So it's really, really important to control your emotions. You will never be able to remove your emotions, but you can learn how to control them, and then you can learn how to, play with your emotions if you want in a way that it's going to serve you, right? So you need, for example, one thing that I do in my life is that in other areas of my life where I can have emotions, I don't hesitate to live my emotions, right? Because as I said, you cannot remove emotions. You have emotions. So you need to live your emotions in other areas of your trading so that when you come to the charts, you've already lived a lot of emotions, right? And then you will be very calm. And so that's one trick that I use, and it works very well. So being in control of your emotions is really, really important. And number three is, I would say, to simply know what you are doing for real and understand that when you are starting out in your trading, even if you are starting to get a sense of understanding of what you're doing, keep in mind that trading is a very long game. It takes most of the time years to become really good and to understand what you're doing. So keep in mind that even if you understand a bit, how the markets are working and stuff like that, you will always be learning something new. So you have to remain a student of the game, even if you have good results, and you need to always be, willing to grow as a trader, but also as an individual. And you need to realize that at the beginning, you simply don't know what you don't know. So you need to listen to people who have results that you want. Which is why I created the course, right? For all of you guys who have been following for a long time, you know that I've been doing the Reversal Master course for years, you know, and I'm still doing it today. We have an amazing community, right, with over 250 members, and it's growing nicely, and people in the group are getting amazing results. You know, we have students who have been able to make a lot of money. We have people who do this full time, just like myself. So I mean, it's just amazing, you know, to see the growth. And that's the reason why I created the course, you know, because I've made a lot of mistakes early on in my journey. So the course not only is going to show you how to trade the right way and the theory, but you will also be able to learn from my experience directly and not make the same mistakes that I did. So it's going to help you just speed up your learning curve and become a good trader much faster. So that's basically the idea. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. So that's my story. That was my biggest loss. I hope that you guys found some inspiration, maybe that you were able to relate on this and also learn a lot as well. That's obviously the goal with all the videos that I make, just to share with you guys as much value as I can. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like on it. I would really appreciate it. Make sure that you share the video around. And on that, take care, trade with care, manage your money well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.